Meanwhile, Sangu's friends are in a bar celebrating their 3rd year in university. They are having a conversation about them not having girlfriends or partners when one of them suddenly remembers Sangu and thinks of what he was doing right now since he has not contacted them since, and even was surprised that he continued to be a hunter despite his personality. Jeongdo told them that they do not know Sangu at all, and what he does when he gets mad. He told them a story of when they were in 3rd grade. Jeongdo was about to get home when a couple of gangsters cornered him to steal his money. Sangu saw it, and despite being little at that time still tried to attack the gangsters because he was robbed by those guys before, and was mad that Jeongdo was being harassed. Jeongdo said that Sangu is merciful when it only concerns himself, but when people around him are harmed, he snaps. Back at the storage facility, Chanseong was surprised and asked how Sangu was able to detect him. Sangu instructs some of his clones to take Junmo to the hospital. Sangu informed him that his skill didn't matter since he just came back from killing a group of monsters with skills similar to his. The clones restrained Chanseong, and Sangu stated that his skill was not trash and that he just did not train his physical body, and that Chanseong was right that he has great stats, and then let out a powerful punch to his stomach which sent him flying, making him cough up blood due to the damage. One of his clones informed him that one of Silver Moon members got away and the rest had been taken care of. He then commands them to focus on getting Junmo to the hospital to tend to his wounds as Chanseong was still able to move despite the attack from Sangu. Chanseong couldn't believe what was going on since according to the reports Sangu's strength status is only at 19 and his clones are also formidable. He also knew it was impossible to get out if he got caught by 2 of those. He notices the red potion in Sangu's pocket. He then tries to distract him with a little bit of conversation, then he casts stealth again for the 2nd time, telling Sangu that he has not seen everything he got. Sangu is undeterred as the clones get ready. Chanseong was thinking of how he was able to be detected despite his skill and assumed that he was able to be detected due to sounds and ripples of his movement, so he decided to up his speed to block the sounds, making Sangu unable to see him easily. Sangu acknowledges the situation and what he can do as Chanseong dashes into him, but it is useless, as Sangu is still able to hit him, causing him to fly off again. However, Chanseong laughs it off and mocks Sangu as he shows him he had stolen the red potion that was in his pocket, believing that it was the source of his strength and the reason he became strong in a short amount of time. Sangu advised him to not drink it, but Chanseong did not listen and chugged the whole potion, making his strength stat almost double than it was before, even causing the ground to tremble due to the increase in Chanseong's strength. Chanseong makes threats to Sangu and tells him to give the name of the potion maker, and he will let him go after taking a limb. Sangu assessed the situation, considering 2 of his clones were tending to Junmo, so he had to deal with him with only 2 of his clones. Chanseong attacks and 2 of his clones try to stop him, but they are unable to stop Chanseong, and continue his attack on Sangu, who was able to block it but was pushed back by the attack. Chanseong tells him that he did not only see his stats but also his personal information, as some of his lackeys have come to where Sangu's parents are currently living. Meanwhile, Chanseong's people were able to defeat the hunter guarding the place. Sangu's parents were at their apartment when there was a sudden knock on the door. Chanseong threatens Sangu as he attacks, that just a call from him, all his family would be buried alive. As Sangu struggles to defend, his clones then attack Chanseong from behind, which distracts him. Sangu uses the cursed sword with his blood and launches a powerful attack on Chanseong, but it only manages to destroy his weapons. Enraged, Chanseong attacks, sending Sangu flying outside the storage facility. Chanseong proceeds to attack one of his clones as another one tries to come from behind but is no use as well. Sangu thought about the overwhelming effect of the potion as he saw Wu Haiyan together with one of his clones and one apprehended Silvermoon Guild member, asking him if he going to lose after acting cool earlier. Sangu shrugs it off as Chanseong is in front of him and is about to call the lackeys that he sent to Sangu's parents when his arms suddenly fall limp and lose power, as he also falls to the ground, unaware that the potion he drank earlier had a side effect. The one he drank can double his strength, but the after effect is that it will melt his muscle. Chanseong then tried to talk over the phone to his lackeys to hostage Sangu's family while telling Sangu to not harm him, or his family would die. He also asked for an antidote, but there was none as the phone was answered, but it was one of the high-ranked members of the Keenest Guild who answered the call. When Sangwoo's father opened the door due to someone who knocked earlier, they were greeted by the same man who answered the call Chanseong made. The man greeted Sangwoo's parents, apologized for coming in at a late hour, and informed them that Sangwoo had completed his mission successfully, and is now heading back to Korea. While also holding one of Chanseong's lackeys by the head, hiding him from the sight of Sangwoo's parents, he cut their conversation short so Sangwoo's father could close the door. The man then confronted all the Silvermoon Guild members present. The man answered the call made by Chanseong, after destroying all the members of the Silver Moon Guild. The man through the phone made another call, and reported that it was already taken care of, assuming Sangwoo was now also aware that his family was now safe from harm. Shocked by what happened, Chanseong continues to struggle from the effect of the potion. Sangwoo looks at him with rage, telling him that if he wants to live, he should focus on his energy to breathe. He then grabs one of Chanseong's arms and tells him not to lay a finger on the people around him, and then breaks it like a twig, causing Chanseong to cry in pain. Sangwoo immediately heads into the hospital where Junmo is currently staying with two of his clones. He jumps to the 5th floor since it is not possible for visitors to enter due to this late hour. He asks for Junmo's condition, and Junmo informs that he is fine as he was treated by healers. Junmo notices blood on Sangwoo's face and asks him the same question, but Sangwoo shrugs it off, telling him that his regeneration is quite high and that it's only a scratch, then informs him that he does not need to worry about the Silver Moon Guild anymore. Junmo was somehow relieved as Sangwoo asked if he should get his rank re-evaluated, considering his improvements since the Fishman portal. He also hasn't been tested yet after that incident. Sangwoo originally wanted to increase his stats to earn money for the hospital fees, but due to the incidents that happened, changed his mind, thinking that if he was an A-class hunter or even stronger, the Silver Moon Guild would not do such a thing in the first place, nor even attacking Junmo and their office, and that is why he wants to be at a higher rank. Junmo stated that it would be very beneficial to the agency, and would be extremely grateful since a high-rank hunter would make the agency stronger. However, Junmo also warned him he would also attract a lot of attention and similar situations like this could happen. Sangwoo made a decision and headed to the hunter agency to re-evaluate his rank. His information was confirmed by one of the clerks, and normally, rank evaluations would be in the form of groups since the usual understanding is the monsters are usually stronger than the hunter, but since it is Sangwoo, things such as normal do not apply to him. He was then instructed on how the process works in order for him to be qualified for promotion. He asked if he could skip the tests for D, C, and B. The staff was surprised and told him that a hunter could only apply for a rank above him. Sangwoo asks for the prerequisites for getting a D rank and informs him that the D rank quest was to defeat a fishman. The clerk doubted that Sangwoo could take on the quest and assumed he would be back to cancel the application. Sangwoo then makes a phone call and continues to stand by the hunter agency's lounge. 2 hours later, the clerk is annoyed at him since he has not moved at all after accepting the application. Sangwoo then stands up, goes back to the clerk, and tells him that he has finished the test. The clerk was about to ask if wanted to cancel the application, but Sangwoo informed him that it was finished and he got the evidence, as one of his clones killed the fishman. The clerk could not believe him since he did not even see him leave the premises, but Sangwoo insisted on checking the system and that the hunting grounds had sent a confirmation message as well. Upon checking, the clerk was surprised that it was indeed completed. He could not believe it, and even called the hunting grounds himself to confirm if it was true, and the hunting ground officers confirmed that there was a recording of Sangwoo coming to the hunting ground. With a lot of questions in his head, the clerk immediately increases his rank from E to D. The staff assumed that Sangwoo was cheating and planned to report what happened. Sangwoo then tells the clerk that he wants to register for C rank, which surprised him even more. Meanwhile, Woo Hyun retrieves the jewel crystal she stole from the Silvermoon Guild. She thinks back to when she admitted to Sangwoo that it was she who stole the crystals, putting Junmo and Sangwoo's family in danger. Thinking that she would be in trouble and recalling what Sangwoo did to all the people who hurt them. However, Sangwoo stated it was not her fault, and the reason was they thought that it was him who did it, so they tried hurting his family and Junmo, and that the misunderstanding of the missing crystals was between her and Silvermoon. Sangwoo doesn't judge her for the theft of the Silvermoon and Haizang Guild and doesn't believe she owes an apology. Wu Haiyan then held the jewel crystals as she ran to settle things off on her own. Back at the hunter agency, a couple of hunters are surprised as Sangu passes on both C and B rank hunter test qualifications, making him a B rank hunter, with the clerk still not believing what he had witnessed. The other clerk informed the man that Sangu requested an overlapping entrance permit to the hunting grounds using his cloning skills. The news had spread, and even the hunter agency doctor was eager to share Sangu's exceptional skill, as he had never seen a skill like that before. Everyone was surprised by the rapid progress, as Sangu had advanced from an E-rank hunter to a B-rank within just a day. This achievement was expected to create a significant buzz on the hunter web. After a week, a lot of things changed as Sangu's feat was posted on the hunter web along with the news of the Raid 1 team of Keenest Guild's successful return. In a following web post, was about Sangu's cloning skill being the only one in the whole world, and other news such as the Silver Moon Guild being disbanded. Sangu then received the mission reward from Keenest Guild, and could not believe what he saw on his phone. He received 5 billion won for the success of the mission, and then immediately called Wante about it. Wante confirmed this and stated Sangu's achievement had indeed been a remarkable one. He mentioned that Junmo hadn't informed Sangu about the contract when he accepted the mission, but Wante had believed in Sangu's capabilities and encouraged him to take it, as he felt no one else would have been able to handle it. Wante also extended an invitation for Sangu to visit their guild, mentioning that their raid team one would love to meet him. Sangu agreed to visit someday and felt overjoyed by what had occurred. This meant that he wouldn't have to worry about his sister's medical bills anymore. This financial relief would also open the possibility of maintaining her in the intensive care unit. Additionally, he contemplated the possibility of buying services from Bless, one of the world's S-class healers. At the Silver Moon Guild, Director Yang Jukiel is destroying evidence, as their plan was already in shatters and the Yolo and Keenest Guild are on the hunt for them. He wants to get out as quickly as possible when Han Miho, the guild master of Yolo Guild, comes in at his office. He tried to attack to surprise her, but it was no use since Miho was already aware and took him down first. Junmo visited Wante at the Keenest Guild office building and discussed his injury. He also brought up the fact that he had protected Sangu's family during a recent incident, and expressed his gratitude to Wante. Wante downplayed his actions and considered it as simply offering assistance. He confirmed to Junmo that the attackers were from the Silvermoon Guild, but Junmo suspected that there might be more to the story. He inquired about Chanxiang Kong, the person responsible for the incident, and the vice guild master of Silvermoon. Junmo's revelation that Chanxiang Kong was one of the hunters he worked with during his time with the Haizang Guild surprised Wante. He began to wonder if there was some connection between the Haizang and Silvermoon Guilds. At that moment, Han Miho entered the room and revealed that it was the Silvermoon Guild that was manufacturing jewel crystals supplied to the Haizang Guild, and she had discovered that there were other guilds involved in supplying jewel crystals to Haizang. Han Miho confirmed that Wante's suspicions about Jukiel's connection to the situation were correct. She greeted Junmo, and he reciprocated before asking if she had visited the Silvermoon Guild. Miho affirmed this and assured them that Jukiel was alive and would be delivered to them soon. Wante inquired about DP, and Miho explained that it was a body-strengthening drug. She had a hunch that something wasn't right about the situation, as there was no way a B-class guild like Silvermoon could manufacture jewel crystals without some external support. This led her to believe that the Haizang Guild was deeply involved in the situation, making it even more dangerous than they had initially thought. The legalization of hunter activities and the establishment of a structured system occurred after the cataclysm ended. This system was developed in collaboration with various regulatory measures, including taxation on earnings from hunting and the legalization of activities like monster drops, among other things. These measures were intended to create stability in the hunter profession. However, not everyone was pleased with the idea of identity registration and hunting restrictions. Some hunters resisted the regulations and formed their own underground society. In this society, unlicensed hunters developed their own system and engaged in illicit dealings using illegal weapons and information to safeguard their earnings. Yu Haiyan entered a bar to sell the jewel crystals, but the bartender apologized, and a couple of men seized her. The bartender explained that he had been threatened, and a couple of unlicensed hunters who tried to intervene were quickly subdued by the masked men. Just as it seemed dire for Yohayan, Sangu made a surprise appearance, attacking one of the men who had threatened her. This intervention was a part of Sangu's plan. Previously, when Yohayan had admitted to Sangu about the stolen jewel crystals, he had mentioned that she was part of JM Agency and would assist her. Sangu had instructed her to sell the stolen jewel crystals, knowing that it would lead the culprits right into his trap. In an undisclosed location, the director of the Haizang Guild, Shin Haizang, was undergoing a body check. He humorously questioned why he would bring a weapon, considering he was an A-class hunter, and jokingly suggested he could just drop a boulder on the place. Despite his playful remarks, he was instructed to proceed. Inside, the oracle recognized his presence and repeated the same answer as before, advising him to give up and be content with his current life. Shin Haizang responded to the oracle's advice by recounting how the oracle had once predicted that powerful individuals, including politicians, would bow before him. However, the predictions had suddenly changed. Haizang demanded to know why, and the oracle explained that his destiny had undergone a drastic shift, primarily due to someone's influence. When he pressed for the person's identity, the oracle couldn't specify, as it wasn't just one person but many. Meanwhile, back at the bar, Sangu emerged victorious after defeating those who had attempted to kidnap Yohayan. He handed one of the captors' cell phones and asked for the password. The man, however, expressed a preference to be killed instead. Sangu responded by indicating that he wasn't the type to do so. Instead, he suggested handing the man over to the unlicensed hunters who were eager to get their revenge. Shinjinik, the leader of Haisen Guild's Team 1, received a phone call with a somewhat choppy voice. He was informed that the jewel crystals had been successfully retrieved and Jinik instructed to transport them to Factory 3. Jinik inquired about the unclear voice on the other end but dismissed it, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding the DP production. He mentioned that their guild CEO was extremely upset about the Silvermoon situation. Unknown to Jinik, the call had been made by Sangu. After verifying the information, Sangu offered to return the jewel crystals in exchange for the location of the factory. The apprehended man initially hesitated but relented when Sangu threatened him and pointed to two unlicensed hunters who were ready with their weapons drawn. After leaving, Sangu and Yohayan began their journey back. Yohayan expressed her gratitude for Sangu's help, but he downplayed it. She then confirmed that Sangu was the person featured in the news story about the hunter who had been promoted 2 ranks in a single day. Sangu pointed out that Yohayan might not be the type to pay attention to others. Curious, Yohayan asked Sangu what her name was. Sangu replied that she was the potion maker, which prompted Yohayan to grab him by the neck and assert that her name was Yohayan. Sangu defended himself by saying they had never formally introduced themselves. Yohayan then inquired about the whereabouts of his clones. Sangu informed her that his clones were currently occupied at a barbecue restaurant, fulfilling a promise he had made to them. Sangu had promised his clones a meal before their mission at Odin's Tower, and now, at the barbecue restaurant, the clones were joyfully indulging themselves. Back at the Keenest Guild's office, Junmo confirmed that it was Shin Jinwook who had been on the other end of the recorded call sent by Sangu. This revelation shed light on the connection between the Haizang Guild and the jewel crystals. It became evident that there were other B-class guilds that continued to operate in retrieving jewel crystals for the Haizang Guild, much like the Silvermoon Guild. Junmo suggested using this information as evidence to take down the Haizang Guild, but wanted caution that it would be extremely difficult. The reason was that the Haizang Guild wasn't directly involved in manufacturing the crystals, and they enjoyed protection from the Korean Hunter Association. Even if they were to be imprisoned, they would likely be released in no time. Wante emphasized that when it came to this incident, they should proceed slowly but surely. He also expressed concern for Junmo's safety, offering to assign bodyguards to him immediately. Junmo accepted the offer but mentioned that he would inform Sangu about the bodyguard situation. Wante assured him that Sangu didn't require a bodyguard, as there wasn't anyone capable of kidnapping him in the first place. Sangu received a text from Junmo, informing him about their discussion at the Keenest Guild office. Sangu then advised Yohayan not to leave the office for a while, and she suspected that matters related to the Silvermoon Guild were not yet resolved. Sangu then mentioned the new agency office they had acquired and mentioned that she would be surprised. Upon arriving at the new agency office, they were warmly greeted by Junmo. The office was spacious, occupying the entire floor, as Junmo had been planning to move for some time. They humorously discussed how they were on their way to becoming a top-ranked national agency, particularly due to Sangu's rising popularity. Yoo-hyun was then led to another room where she discovered a fully equipped laboratory with the latest potion-making technology and equipment. Junmo had arranged this space for her and assured her that if she needed anything else, she could simply inform him. There was also a separate room for her to live in. Yoo-hyun was touched and thanked him. Junmo received an unexpected phone call that surprised him. He quickly instructed Sangwoo to go to the hospital. Meanwhile, at the storage facility where Sangwoo and Chanseong had previously battled, Shin Haizang called for someone to come forward, and a shadow responded to his command, transforming into a masked man. Haizang inquired about the whereabouts of Yang Jukil. The masked man informed him that he was locked up in the underground of Yolo Guild, and that all the documents related to DP had been taken, along with the jewel crystals. He also reported that one of the factories had been located. Shin Haizang clenched his teeth and handed 2 potions to the masked man, instructing him on who to use them on. He declared that if someone desired DP so fervently, he would provide it, even if it was not perfected yet. In the Yolo Guild basement, Yang Jukil was taken aback as the masked man emerged from the shadows. Confused and surprised, Jukil asked why the man was there. The masked individual responded that the CEO had sent him. Initially hopeful that he was going to be rescued, Jukil's hope turned to shock as the masked man used the potion provided by Haizang on him. Outside the Yolo Guild building, Park Won-tae arrived with Han Miho to interrogate Jukil. As they were discussing, Miho suddenly detected a burning smell. She quickly looked towards the guild building's front and saw it on fire. Alarmed, she rushed inside and was met with a nightmarish sight. A devil-like creature stood in front of her, and some of her guild members lay injured on the ground. One of the wounded guild members informed Miho that a monster had suddenly appeared in the basement, and that the B-class hunters had been unable to stop it. Miho was perplexed about the situation, as she couldn't understand how an A-class monster had appeared without a nearby portal. In the hospital, the masked man appeared before Chanseong Kong, who was in a comatose state. He was intent on using the same method as he had with Jukil. However, before he could proceed, Siana intervened to stop him. Although he momentarily halted his actions, he then attempted to use the potion on the guild member. Just as he was about to carry out his intentions, Sangwoo intervened, delivering a powerful and decisive attack. The monster that Han Miho and Park Won-tae encountered outside of the Yolo Guild building was indeed Yang Jukil. Miho confirmed and said that he was not A-class but was on the upper end of B-class, and by the scar on the monster's face, she confirmed that it was him, considering that he appeared at the guild basement. Won-tae then thinks about the conversation they had regarding DP as he looks into the transformed Jukil and says that Haizang must be planning to take care of the Silvermoon, which also means Chanseong Kong is in danger. But Miho said that Siana was already there since she saw a suspicious person and contacted Junmo immediately. Han Miho launched a powerful magic attack that pierced the creature's chest. However, the monster displayed rapid regeneration and immediately counterattack. Before it could strike back, Park Won-tae intervened, swiftly slicing off the creature's hand with incredible speed and using his skill. Half Moon Slash. The monster retaliated by using a skill that Jukil was known for, confirming the transformation's identity. The monster was poised to unleash another skill when a sudden attack from above struck it down, killing it instantly. The guild master from the Sun Guild, Kim Il-gun, had arrived on the scene. He demanded an explanation from Miho and Won-tae about the events that had unfolded. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Sangwoo and Siana continued to battle with the masked man. Siana unleashed a fireball, but it was promptly dispelled by the masked man. Sangwoo managed to kick the masked man, forcing him to retreat. The masked man, acknowledging Sangwoo's formidable power, understood why Chanseong had been defeated. Sangwoo's clones also arrived on the scene. The masked man, realizing he was at a disadvantage, prepared to make his escape, citing the abundance of shadows in the area, especially around the intensive care unit where Sangwoo's sister was located. Sangu made a quick attempt to apprehend the masked man, but his enemy managed to escape. The situation was de-escalated after the incident, with the monster outbreak in the city quickly dealt with by the Sun, Keenis, and Wyolo guilds. While Kim Il-gin voiced his suspicions about Shin Haesung, the incident was generally perceived as a straightforward monster outbreak, and no clear connections were drawn to any specific individuals or guilds. Yang Jukio was officially declared a missing person, as there was no clear explanation for his disappearance. The authorities were able to locate the place where the jewel crystals were being manufactured, but by the time they arrived, it had been emptied out, leaving only the machines behind. Several other reports emerged about random monsters appearing in various parts of the city, but any information linking these incidents to a broader conspiracy was promptly removed. The events were thus shrouded in mystery. Sangu took the security of his team seriously after the Silver Moon incident. However, due to budget constraints, they couldn't afford to hire professional bodyguards. To address this issue, Sangu decided to utilize his clones strategically. He distributed 6 of his clones to different key locations, including their home, the hospital, and other important spots. 2 of the clones were assigned to go hunting and exercise regularly. Junmo was aware that Sangu could now summon a 7th clone, but Sangu revealed that this particular clone was assigned to a familiar place, Odin's Tower. He explained that this clone was equipped with a blue potion that Yohayan had created. Inside the tower, the clone successfully lured the monsters, and then, using the potion, self-destructed to eliminate the monsters. The opening ceremony of the Hunters Academy Korea branch was officially launched under the leadership of its academy president, Won Haksu. The primary objective of this academy was to provide education for low-rank hunters on effectively dealing with monsters and enhancing their skills, all without charging a fee. The academy was open to individuals with lower-tier skills or ranks, as the goal was to help them improve. It was announced that at the end of each year, the person who demonstrated the most outstanding achievements would receive a prestigious reward, an elixir. Like and subscribe if you want me to continue the next chapters, and thank you for watching.